Have you ever wondered why some people toil away from dawn to dusk, barely scraping by, while others seem to effortlessly hit the right wave at the right time and rake in massive profits? Many believe this wealth gap comes down to background, education, or luck. But Kazuo Inamori, Japan's management sage, shared something invaluable in his works. He said, "There are exactly four paths to making money fast in this world. Since commerce began, only these four paths work, and they have never changed." This is top-tier logic. I'm Mojo. We see through the logic of money, because wealth is the only chip, to real freedom in this brutal world. Your floor is determined by how hard you work, but your ceiling is always determined by your thinking. Today I'll break down these four cognitive gaps hidden in the market. I'll show you how the wealthy turn everyone else's blind spots into their own ATM. The first path is called the information gap. Plainly put, I know what you don't. I caught the wave, rode the trend early, and banked those first-mover returns. And that one windfall alone was enough to fund my next decade. In 1989, a merchant named Mu Chizong overheard shocking news by chance on a train. The Soviet Union was facing collapse and needed to sell planes, but couldn't find buyers. Mao was just a small merchant selling bamboo wares and rattan goods, but he spotted this massive information gap. He dug around, found airlines, and became the middleman. Using a barter approach, he completed the historic canned goods for planes deal. He made 100 million yuan net. That's the terrifying power of the information gap. Take 1994, when most people didn't even know what the internet was, thinking it was just for email and games. Bezos already saw the future of internet commerce and founded Amazon. In this era, whoever seizes the information gap first. Poor people stay trapped in low-value information bubbles, entertainment until death. The wealthy stay sharp to market shifts because they know the core of fast money is the information gap. But information gaps fade too quickly. The second path is the cognition gap. If the information gap is I know what you don't, then the cognition gap is we saw the same thing, but I understand what you don't, so I make money you can't fathom. Take electric vehicles and renewables in recent years. A decade ago, most thought EVs were toys that couldn't go far and nobody wanted them, even mocked them. But a few elite minds saw past that surface and grasped the unstoppable global energy transition. They understood the irreversible direction behind it and positioned early in related industries and companies. Now those who understood this gap and bet decisively are raking in huge returns. See it? Facing the same reality, the poor see risk and absurdity. The wealthy see the trend ahead. That's the harsh truth of the cognition gap. Kazuo Inamori lived by learn till death, because once you stop learning, your mind hardens, your cognition stalls, and your wealth stops growing. Making money is value exchange. Only when your thinking reaches that level can you attract equal wealth. As information becomes transparent and everyone accesses the same data, the gap shifts to the third path. Execution gap. The execution gap is this. You get it, I get it too, but you don't do it. In this information-flooded era, ideas are worthless. The brilliant idea you dreamed up? Hundreds already thought of it. Science shows the human brain produces 60,000 thoughts a day, of which 99% are forgotten by tomorrow. I had a close university friend. 7 years ago, we dreamed together about entrepreneurship and explored many promising business models. Years later, we bumped into each other. I was shocked to find he was still doing the same things from 7 years back. All those viable plans he'd mentioned? Still stored in his head, never executed. That's the disease of low execution. Endless overthinking, new ideas popping up, feet planted in the same spot. Real execution isn't rash impulse. It's ideas hitting the ground instantly, then grinding through any problem. High execution means do what you think. Low execution means watching chances slip away. When everyone has the information and everyone's executing, the market becomes a brutal red ocean. Now what sets you apart? Competition gap, where you do it, I do it too, but I do it better. Today's internet collapsed the information gap, but maximized commodity competition. On the same starting line, what makes you outrun others? The answer, what extra value can you provide? Say everyone sells clothes. If you just display them, you're only competing on price. But if you explain this year's trends and teach them how to style themselves, you're not solving just a clothing need, you're solving their real pain of not knowing how to get beautiful. Kazuo Inamori once said something that shook people awake. Don't dodge things you don't know, things that seem hard. Master them completely, then you're better than everyone else. The truly exceptional don't start super capable. They take one thing and perfect it. When you solve problems others can't and build trust and influence, you erect an unbreakable competitive barrier in the market. Notice these 4 paths: information, cognition, execution, competition. And behind them lies the world's core and cruelest wealth distribution law. This is the 5th point. Wealth is always compensation for thinking, never reward for effort. Many think money comes from grinding, selling sweat, but discourses on salt and iron revealed the truth 2 millennia ago. Wealth comes from strategy and method, not from toiling the body. Profit comes from positioning, not from farming strength. Body and muscle alone never create real wealth because strength and time are finite. The world's fairest rule: when someone's wealth exceeds their thinking, the market always shrinks it back until it matches their understanding. Every dollar you earn is your thinking on the world. Cashed out, every dollar you lose proves your understanding has a gap. The poor fantasize about lottery luck or chase shortcut treasure. The wealthy pour everything into expanding their mental dimension. Because they know skill can be hired, resources can be borrowed, but thinking, there's no shortcut, only grinding it yourself. Now pause and check where you stand. Do you complain you're undervalued, but never checked if you're in a cognitive blind spot? Did you have countless brilliant ideas but lose them to hesitation and delay, fading into nothing? Remember, in this fast-shifting era, nobody hands you real money-making chances for free. Starting today, stop the pointless physical drain. Learn to look up and find information gaps in the market. Raise your thinking dimension. Sharpen your execution. Build that irreplaceable advantage. Wealth is always the return on your thinking. Grasp these 4 gaps in the market. Every dollar you earn becomes your brain's most honest reward. When you truly master this fastest path to money and act on it, you'll deeply thank the version of you today who broke free from that cage and chose extreme growth. If this episode helped, subscribe to Top Tier Logic, like. Next time we'll see through wealth's deepest logic. I'm Mojo, see you next.